Hi everyone, today we're looking at the Gokko Audio dripping delay. It's a very beautifully designed analog delay pedal. It's going to look great on your pedal board. Straight up 3-knob design for level, repeat, and delay. So let's plug it in and check it out. Alright, so let's take a look at the Gokko dripping analog delay. So difference between digital and analog and a bunch of the other types of delays. So this delay tone is going to have more of a drivey sort of tone to it, more like the classic delays, like the 60s and 70s, if you will. Not the tape delay, but more of an analog delay. So it's driven with sort of like a preamp sound to it. But you'll understand that as we do it, as we play it here. So a little bit about the signal path. We're going through the Gokko Vintage Drive preamp, so it's like a classic American style amplifier preamp sound. And then going into a direct box with a speaker simulator, going right into the quad capture, and then into the laptop. If I have time, I'm going to do some work with the sonic fuel, just to give it a bit of drive. And then that should be about it. So, clean tone. All right. And then with everything set at 12 o'clock, we're going to turn the Gokko on, the dripping delay. Very nice. So I think about 7 delays there. So when we're talking about delays or repeats, that's basically what I'm counting here is the amount of repeats that are on that repeat knob. So when you get to about 12 o'clock, we're talking about the repeats. And with the delay, that's how quickly those repeats are going to happen. So if I didn't like how slow it was, and I wanted to just tighten that up a little bit there, can bring the bring the repeats down a little bit there. Yeah. Could just keep going crazy. So now they're happening so quickly in between, it's almost sounding like a reverb tone there. And just even shorter distance between the repeats. Yeah, so now you're almost, it's almost sounding like a reverb. Okay, so let's bring that back up the other way. So back up at 12 o'clock. All right, so let's go up to 9 o'clock there with the actual delay. Okay, so let's keep going now. So we're going to take that delay all the way to almost 6 o'clock. All right, so let's move that back up to 12. And let's give you some repeats now. So let's take the repeats down to 6 o'clock. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we went from about 7 repeats down to 5. I'll just keep going here. So about 4. And if we go all the way down, you get 1. Okay, well, I guess that's, a good idea. So you know exactly how many you're dealing with there. So you get exactly 1 repeat. And then back up. Yeah, so you could get deadly accurate with the number of repeats there. That's kind of nice. And it fades them out. So it's not like exact volume all the way. It kind of trails out a little bit, so it fades very nicely. Cool. Okay. So that's, let's go the other way now. So back at 12. And then we'll move it up to 3 o'clock. So now we're getting a little more ambient here, if that makes sense here. So we can create some nice sort of, I don't know, atmospheric sound there, just with so you could really create a nice atmospheric landscape, if you will, there. Nice, big, full, rich sound there. So that's a lot of repeats. So if I go all the way up. Okay, yeah. All right, so that's the thing to keep in mind, and that's not specific to the dripping. That's every delay. If you put the repeats on max, you're going to get max repeats, and in a lot of cases, so much so that the repeats are repeating and repeating and repeating, and you get a bit of what's called a feedback loop. So it would just get bigger and bigger and bigger. So I strongly advise that you don't put your delay on maximum repeats unless you have some really crazy reason to do it, or you can turn it off very quickly. So. Okay, so everything is at 12 again. So I'm just going to put the Sonic Fuel Overdrive on, and we'll hear what it sounds like with some drive to it. Sorry, I'm peaking a little bit here. Let's bring the input signal down a bit. Very nice. All right, so that is the dripping delay by Sonic Fuel. So let's do that was a dripping delay by Gokko Audio. So let's do a quick wrap up and we'll be back right soon. We'll be back very soon. Okay, bye. All right, so what did we think of the dripping delay? Again, with every pedal that I've done so far for GokuAudio.com, it's been straight up 12 o'clock. You get something very, very usable. The analog tone is very nice. It's got a very nice vintage tone to it. The repeats are very well defined. You can get exactly one if you want. And you can go to an infinite number of repeats as well. The delay setting, the distance between the delay setting was great. And so you're not going to have any trouble, once again, finding something usable with the Gokko pedals. I've got to say, I've been really impressed with this line as of today. So go check it out. You can find more information at GokuAudio.com. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. All right, have an awesome day. Bye.